in your soul, in your mind, reverberating the very things you always suspected were true. You're probably guessing who I'm talking about by now. An award-winning actress, Rosario Dawson is involved with the Lower East Side Girls Club. She supports other charities such as environmental group Global Cool, the One Campaign, Operation USA, Oxfam, Amnesty International, Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, also known as PFLAG, my people. I know, I just outed myself in front of everyone. Don't tell. She also supports the International Rescue Committee, Voto Latino, and StayClose.org, a poster and public service ad campaign for PFLAG, where she's featured with her Uncle Frank Jump. She has been a surrogate for the Bernie Sanders campaign during this entire presidential race, and she ain't going nowhere! Let's give it up for Rosario Dawson!
Unity, they should probably stop attacking physically, violently Bernie Sanders supporters, right? It's so funny because the narrative that CNN keeps putting out there, the whole Obama boys it started with, and then the Bernie bros, is a really racist, sexist narrative. And we are constantly being pitted as, you know, those people who threw chairs, as opposed to the factual reality of the guy who picked up the chair and put it back down. Because we're so violent, right? No. Like, if they want to be putting down the idea of Bernie or bust, the host of the DNC should probably not say that we should behave because they're just going to roll call it first thing and not give us democracy, right? That's like a really bad way of going about it. If they want to stop the dialogue and the narrative of Jill if Hill, or Bernie or Green, or Bernie or Canada, or all of the other amazing things that I keep seeing people coming up with, then probably, you know, actually doing a platform for the DNC at these hearings that actually recognizes the things that we care about. Because as we've all said for a long time, it's bigger than Bernie. It's about the issues. And he generously said very early on, enough about the emails, I think really hoping that we would then get into the issues. And that just never really seemed to happen. And that's a real shame because these issues are bigger than all of us. That's why we keep saying, not me, us. It's so much bigger than just one of us individually. It's so much bigger than Bernie Sanders. This is about our health. Like, what's comparable to our health? They're going, oh, okay, well, if you don't get that, you lost, then you just get to have to incrementally get this. Well, what are you replacing our health with? What are you replacing not war with? War? You're replacing not fracking with fracking. You're replacing education with no education and poor education. Like, those aren't comparables. Those aren't things to give up on. So I'm really excited to see all of you here. I'm so stoked that you took this in the streets and made it visible in this community, in this neighborhood. I'm so glad you shut down this block because now it's definitely clear that CNN can't front and act like they didn't realize that there was a huge demonstration outside of their offices like the last time. I'm so stoked to see brand new Congress over here really making visible what the political revolution is and means, which is about all of us being really mindful locally and taking over all of our elections all the way through and recognizing that this general election has a lot of seats that are open and that we've been taking names to watch people that are just sticking with status quo, establishment, same-o, grease your pockets, I'll grease yours kind of situations. We're not interested. You know, this sit-in that just happened, which seemed like a nice idea. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing if all of those Democrats had done a sit-in to actually ban assault weapons? As opposed to no bill, no break, and then they took a break right after they didn't get their bill, which was just no fly, no buy, which isn't really doing very much when you consider no fly, no buy. Well, those watch lists tend to have congressmen on them and veterans and people who are not associated even whatsoever with terrorism. If you're going to do no fly, no buy, At the very least, you should be supporting background checks, right? How about a sit down for universal health care? How about a sit down for education? How about a sit down? Because they love to complain about, oh, those damn Republicans are just not doing anything. Why didn't you guys do a sit down? Especially not just before the break, but do a sit down when they refused to actually vote and meet with a Supreme Court Justice nominee. If they're really serious about making themselves the Peeper Party, why haven't we long seen this amazing sit-down activism that lasted a whole 25 hours? Why didn't we see that for something that we really need traction on? Oh, because it's a show! That's right! This is entertainment. This is about ratings. This is about looking good, not actually doing good. Yeah, we can't let that fly. I'm seeing like people are taking numbers and names and going, okay, mass exodus is going to be the Super Tuesday of leaving the Democratic Party in August. We'll see if we have to take it that far. I know people are willing to get arrested. I'm a delegate. I'm willing to get arrested if that helps, but obviously I also want to make sure I'm being a good delegate because Bernie needs those, so I got to do that as well. And speaking of delegates, there are a lot of money that's being raised for Hillary's delegates that are just, it's just not even, it's a non-issue for them. But that's not the same for Bernie's delegates. They really need to raise their funds to go, and there's just some exorbitant amounts of monies that are required to do this amazing task, which is to represent thousands upon thousands of Californians here right now, and people across, each individually I mean, but each individual person, like I think for myself, I'll be representing 15,000 people. Right? You will be representing around 15,000 people. Each person is going to be going there representing massive amounts of people, and they need to be able to show up and make visible each of those faces that are behind them, that they're there to amplify. So I'm going to get dunked, because I thought that would be fun. I'm going to throw in, because they're taking cash, I was able to get $700 out, so I'm hoping we can at least match that. Can we at least match that? She's going to be, this is for her and some of the other folks that she actually organized here in California who do not have monies to be able to go. So, are we a team? Stokes? How are you, Stephen Stokes? I'm voting for you. That was fun. I just want to say, I'm really grateful to see you all here. It's holding our corporate media responsible. You know, they can say all they want and deny the voter purges and the caging and the switched votes and affiliations and all that kind of stuff and go, all of those facts don't make voter suppression real. But the AP calling the race in California before any vote had actually been put in, I think we can all agree that's voter suppression. And it's disgusting. It's a disgusting use of people's powers. And I'm a big fan of comics. I think people should use their powers for good and not evil. And people are using their powers, if not for exact evil, they are definitely not using it for good. And that's not okay. We've got a lot at stake right here. I'm reading stuff talking about how we saw Brexit, and people voted and didn't even know what they were voting for, much like we're seeing in this election. And as the numbers were coming in and it was showing that Britain was going to have to leave the EU, you know what they were looking up online? What happens if we leave the EU? And the second most dialed in internet question was, what is the EU? That's a big problem. And they're demanding a revote, which doesn't really look like it's going to happen. That's not how it works. So we really have this opportunity into the convention and going into the general election to really make our voices heard, but it doesn't end there. We got to make sure we're showing up at the midterm elections and beyond. No matter what, even if Bernie is our president, we'd still have to do that. Because this country needs attention. It needs our care, it needs our focus, it needs our commitment and determination, it needs our time and our energy, it needs our focus. So thank you so much for staying vigilant, for making it really clear all the way. Because I don't know about you, but I really like being on the right side of history. And I want to make sure that my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren know exactly what I was doing when immigration was on the line. Because, you know, DAPA just got voted down, and I didn't see a major sit-in by the Democrats for that either. Because they stay frontin'. I'm a New Yorker, so I just gotta call it. They just stay frontin'. You know what we just saw Democrats also not to show up for? Right here in California, they either abstained from voting or voted along with the Republicans to deny farm workers an opportunity to have overtime pay. Still to this day, in 2016, not one farm worker up to this day has been given monies for working overtime for our food right here in California. For shame. For shame. And the Democrats want to be considered the people's party, but they're not voting along with the people. So it's really time to show them what the people are really about, how big and powerful our numbers are, and if they want to have us with them or against them. So thank you for staying vigilant and holding people accountable. That's what is necessary. We have the tools and the means to do it in a way like we've never seen before. You see all you citizen journalists out there right now? All of you alternative media is the only reason why we're all still here with each other. So we got to stay strong, stay focused, stay committed, and let's get to Duncan. See you at the convention, everybody.
Let's hear it for Rosario Dawson. And make sure you throw in your 10 bucks and when in doubt, dunk her out. Because every penny goes toward your future. And we now have empirical evidence this is working. I mean, think about this. We are in the #1 media market of Earth standing in front of CNN. This is not the middle of Iowa. This is